Hi, everyone. Thanks for stopping by ScriptDrop's first ever webinar with John, Avery, and myself. We're going to walk through our recently released industry report. In case you're not super familiar with who ScriptDrop is, we are about a 4-year-old healthcare IT company that focuses on the technology that connects pharmacies with couriers and ultimately patients with their medications from their preferred pharmacies in order for them to stay at home, healthy, and safe. Our mission has always been to help 1 billion patients, but that definitely does carry some extra weight and responsibility given the current global pandemic. As you can see here, we partner with a lot of the largest pharmacy chains around the US and some really large courier partners as well. But our reach surpasses what you see here and likely comes to a pharmacy right outside of your door as well. But before we jump in, I guess John and I should introduce ourselves. I am Emily Munchin, and I was our founder's third hire overall at the company. So I've been here since the early days, but I currently oversee our account management team. So John, I'll send it over to you.
Hey everyone, John Romano. I'm on the sales team at ScriptDrop. I was the first hire, been here for a little over 1.5 years. So what we're going to jump into today is during kind of the pandemic, COVID, there's been a lot of change for delivery need in general, one of those being prescription delivery. So what the ScriptDrop team wanted to do was give a first of its kind resource and industry report, not so much breaking down everything that ScriptDrop offers, but the industry in general and showing pharmacies, healthcare systems, and patients different options to get prescriptions delivered and the different solutions that are available to everyone to choose from today. So through our industry report, we sort of break down all those different service levels, different features, different offerings. So we give the pharmacies, patients, healthcare systems the tools they need to choose the best delivery solution for them.
Okay, yeah, John and Emily, thank you so much for that intro. So the first question that we're going to dive into to help us really unpack this industry report is, what challenges do pharmacies face when it comes to delivery? So John, can you go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah, so some of the biggest challenges that pharmacies face when it comes to delivery is overall technology. A lot of pharmacies, especially independent pharmacies, have been delivering for many years. It's nothing new to them that there's been a spike in delivery because of COVID. But where ScriptDrop comes into place and where we can help with pharmacies is improving the technology aspect. So pharmacies today may have a process in place where they're receiving paper signatures. They don't have delivery routing, smart routing for the drivers. They don't have a way to get signature storage back into their pharmacy management system. And the process in general was just a little bit clunky. That's where ScriptDrop can kind of step in, help advise those specific pharmacies on how to make the process a lot more seamless. So some of the things that ScriptDrop can offer is an in-workflow solution. So what we do today is our team is really good at integrations. So we integrate directly into pharmacy management systems, giving the pharmacy to sort of manage, deploy, and get all relative prescription delivery information within their workflow. So we've integrated with most of the major pharmacy management systems today. We can continue to do that with all pharmacy management systems as well. A few other things we do is we make the process HIPAA compliant. We vet out the drivers, so the pharmacy doesn't have to manage that process. The pharmacy doesn't have to worry about hiring in-house drivers. Everything is handled through ScriptDrop. So that saves the pharmacies a lot of time when they're day-to-day, not worrying about managing that process, but rather just leaving that up to the experts at ScriptDrop to kind of oversee that whole operation.
Awesome, thank you, John. So now that we've explored some of the challenges that pharmacies face when it comes to delivery, Emily, can you explain to us what challenges a patient faces when it comes to delivery?
Yeah, of course. Patients definitely face a lot of challenges when it comes to delivery. Many patients didn't even know that delivery would be an option for their prescription medications until really recently. Like John said, delivery for medications isn't a new concept, but it definitely wasn't something that was widely marketed. I know a lot of pharmacies and retailers kind of value that patient experience in their pharmacy, but ultimately, especially during COVID, we need a delivery option for patients. So if a patient is in need, oftentimes they'll go to the internet, try to find a delivery solution, and what you'll come across oftentimes are either mail order pharmacies or online pharmacies. And both of those options can take several days. Transfer your script from your preferred pharmacy to an online pharmacy, and you have to wait. So sometimes when it's time-sensitive medications, or maybe you didn't give yourself enough lead time, it can definitely be a challenge to get those medications to your doorstep in a timely manner. And other than that, you're kind of trusting a new person or a new company with your healthcare. So a lot of times your pharmacy relationship has been really long-standing. You've been going to the same pharmacist for years, and changing in order to do mail order or one of the online pharmacies can be, kind of a daunting or scary task. You're unsure of the company. You don't have that long-standing relationship. So if your particular pharmacy doesn't offer delivery, you might feel like there's not a good option for you. And then sometimes if you go to certain pharmacies, they offer delivery, but then maybe you're not in their delivery service area and you're actually not eligible. So there's a lot of hurdles that patients can kind of face when they are exploring delivery options. Where ScriptDrop comes in is we can deliver from any pharmacy in the United States. So you can keep your preferred pharmacy. There's not that lag time of transferring your prescription to someone else. We can send a driver to the pharmacy that you would walk into instead and have the prescription come to your home. And a couple of the things that ScriptDrop has been able to see in the trends of delivery is oftentimes the patient population that needs delivery the most is that older at-risk patient population with COVID, the 65 plus folks who really, really need a way to stay safe and healthy in their homes right now. And another interesting thing we've seen is that at least 30% of the folks signing for medications are a caregiver or nurse or someone else who also needs to stay home and stay healthy in order to offer care to that at-risk person. So ScriptDrop definitely can help assist. You keep your same pharmacy and you can stay home and healthy where you should be right now.
That's great. Thank you so much for answering that question.
Yeah.
So our last question before we head into our Q&A section is, what are some of the challenges that healthcare systems face when it comes to delivery?
Yeah, so I can kick this one off. Health systems, they have a lot of the same challenges that the pharmacies do that John was mentioning earlier, but they have kind of an added layer of issues since they are a hospital. And right now, nobody wants to be walking into a hospital if they can avoid it. So you think you don't even want to walk into your doctor's office. A hospital, especially with some of the regulations they have right now on restricting people who are able to walk into a hospital, it makes it particularly challenging for you to grab your medications if you do choose to fill from a healthcare system pharmacy. So they, though, in the long run, a health system has the most on the line to keep their patients healthy and safe. There's regulatory bodies that monitor things like, discharge rates, readmittance rates into health systems. So they have a lot of, push to keep their patients home and healthy. So if they can help you stay on therapy, that's one of the best ways to keep you out of the hospital. And ultimately, that lowers healthcare costs across the board if you can stay on therapy and stay home instead of, getting sick and readmitting. And ScriptDrop can help with that, similar to how we did with the pharmacies that John was mentioning earlier. John, anything to add?
No, I totally agree. And kind of how ScriptDrop can kind of help in those situations is today we're seeing a rise in telemedicine even more than before. It was already rising in 2019, and now it's very common for patients to want to do telemedicine as opposed to going into the healthcare system, as Emily mentioned. So how does that healthcare system fill the medication if the patient's not coming in, as opposed to the patient just going to the pharmacy right down the street from their home, or maybe the pharmacy that offers delivery? That's where ScriptDrop can really come in and help them separate themselves and add that extra layer of benefit to the patient. After the telemedicine visit, or however the physician is seeing the patient electronically, they can queue up ScriptDrop, and we can deliver that medication from that healthcare system, the pharmacy that's located inside, directly to the patient's home through multiple different service levels, whether that's a same-day delivery, an on-demand delivery, or a non-urgent medication, or maybe a maintenance medication that doesn't need to be there, and we can ship it. So we give a lot of different variations to the healthcare system to help them stay relative and make sure their pharmacies are still thriving as well. And same with our integrations as well. A lot of healthcare systems have sort of homegrown pharmacy management systems. We can integrate with those as well and still give those healthcare systems the benefits we give our chain and independent pharmacy partners today.
Perfect. Thank you, John and Emily. So we tackled those broad topics, and now we are going to tackle some of the questions that we had sent in. So the first question, John, if you could answer is, will my pharmacy always have the same driver?
Yeah, so that varies. It depends on the pharmacy. So if a pharmacy has frequent daily deliveries, which most of our partners do, they will most likely see the same driver daily. If the pharmacy has infrequent deliveries and it's more of like an on-demand delivery a few times per week, the driver will vary. But if the pharmacy does have consistent delivery volume, we've learned over the years that patients get comfortable with specific drivers and they like to know who's bringing their medication because it is a sensitive delivery. So we try our best to hire a specific driver for that location. So there is that kind of confidence in that driver to complete the delivery to that patient group that's associated with that pharmacy.
Great, thank you. So the next question is, how do drivers collect signatures for pharmacies? Emily?
Yeah, so our development team has built a courier application from the ground up with healthcare in mind. So it does all sorts of things like track the chain of custody from the pharmacy to the patient. But ultimately, we can also collect a signature at the point of delivery. Right now, though, when social distancing is key, we have paused on signature collection, to keep our drivers and patients healthy and safe. But our courier application is able to insert COVID-19 on behalf of the patient as a reason they weren't able to sign. That way, we're able to maintain the compliance and audit needs for our pharmacies.
Got it. Okay. So the third question is, pharmacies can implement their own solution for prescription delivery. So this being said, what is the defining difference between ScriptDrop and implementing your own solution?
Yeah, so the main thing, just going back to the technology, pharmacies can implement their own solution today, whether that's they outsource a courier partner, it comes in and helps them facilitate the delivery, or they hire an in-house driver. In most of those cases, they don't have the technology that we built. We built our technology specifically for prescription delivery and really focused on those integrations. But when we reach out to pharmacies or speak with pharmacies, we try to act as consultants and give them the advice to choose the best solution for them. So if they're happy with their in-house driver or happy with their courier partner, ScriptDrop doesn't want to interrupt that. The only thing we want to do is add our technology to make the process better for everyone, giving the patient more visibility into the delivery, give the pharmacy more record keeping and information needed for PBM audits. So in any situation, if the pharmacy has their own in-house driver, their own outsourced courier company, we can advise on different ways to work through those situations, or we can come in with our courier team as well and supply the driver for the pharmacy. So in any situation, we're able to incorporate our technology and just make the process altogether a little bit better.
Great. So another question we have, Emily, is that in the industry report, we started diving into what shipping versus delivery is. Can you explain that a little bit more in depth for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of different service levels available to patients, but not every pharmacy is able to offer the same levels of service. So levels of service, I mean like getting your prescription on demand or same day, next day, or maybe through shipping. So it'll be dependent on where you're filling your prescriptions for what levels of service would be available. But something like mail order or an online pharmacy would likely only have shipping available. Typically, their patient base is a lot further from the pharmacy than maybe you towards your local pharmacy that you typically fill at. So some of them will only have shipping, but then if you have a local pharmacy, a retail pharmacy, they often can have different service levels to make sure that you get your medications in the time that you need them.
Perfect. Thanks for clearing that up. So, John, we have a question from a pharmacist, and they are wondering how easy it is for their software system vendor to integrate with an inflow solution.
Yeah, so ScriptDrop has a team of technical account managers that specifically work on integration. So that's one of the things we're the best at, is integrating into pharmacy management systems, whether that's something that's purchased from a company or a homegrown system. Our company was designed and our technology was built to integrate. The whole idea behind our concept is to make things easier for the pharmacy. So the in-workflow solution is definitely the gold standard for us, and that would be an integration. And those things can happen very quickly. On our side, we can move as fast as the other partner. We can move as fast as the pharmacy management system can move. I've seen integrations happen as quick as 3 days, or they could take up to a couple weeks, just depending on how in-depth the integration is. But we can move very quickly on our side to make that happen.
Perfect, thank you. So our last question, Emily, is there are a lot of solutions out there. What would you say differentiates ScriptDrop from the rest? I know we've probably covered it a lot in here, but if you could just elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually love this question because the differences are really subtle, but they're actually pretty huge in the long run. So ScriptDrop isn't a logistics company that's breaking into the healthcare space. We're truly a healthcare company that's helping to coordinate the logistics companies in the healthcare industry. So we're really that mindset of healthcare is a huge differentiator. We understand the complexity of healthcare. We understand things like how to maintain compliance and HIPAA regulations, pharmacy audits. So the other part of it is also that we're not a dispensing pharmacy. So we're not threatening to our pharmacy partners. We're a true partner in helping them maintain their current customer base and hopefully even adding additional patients to their pharmacy. So they can maintain who they have. We're not threatening to that relationship. And then they can also stay relevant in, the age of delivery and convenience that the patients that they service are expecting.
Great. Thank you, Emily. Mm-hmm. So that wraps up our question and answers. And with that, to learn more about our report, please just visit www.report.scriptdrop.co. And Emily and John, anything else to add?
Nope, just want to thank everyone for their time. And if there's anything that I can do for you, or Emily, I'm sure as well, we're happy to help answer any further questions. Feel free to reach out at any time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you all.